Believe it or not, this is my third time trying to do this. January 1st, 2021. Sorry, January 1st, 2026. Young lady said, why do the work and stay in the shadows? So this is me stepping out and speaking for the first time or second time or whatever which way you want to say it, and speaking on the music business, our current climate, just things in general, things that are local to me. The first thing I want to talk about is the song. Well, no, I want to do this. If you're listening to this right now, and I had said about a week ago that my last night at the Vibe nightclub here in San Diego was the last Friday. It's actually this Friday. I'm going to be there at the Vibe one last Friday, and then I'm going to start second Saturdays at the Vibe. And because it's a much needed thing that we need R&B happening on Saturdays. I know we have sprinkle things all over San Diego and nothing really popping off, but this get a chance to have those folks who like to dress up a little bit and come out on a Saturday. And it'll not necessarily be every Saturday, but it'll be something nice, and we want to put together, for those who like to come out, do their line dances and stuff, and other things that are happening. So anyway, we're going to say that. So my last July 10th is my last night at the Vibe nightclub. So let's talk about something else. We speak on the Spin That song, where we're talking about NDRE saying something about the Spin That song, and let me see, we had Trick Daddy and then Uncle Luke speaking on it, and they pretty much were saying, they kind of bashed her a little bit, NDRE, and then they also were saying that she should be able to do what she wants to. We get it, because we're living in a country, you're supposed to be able to do what you want to do, say what you want to do, those things, but everything has a repercussion behind it. We are trying to uplift our youth. Our youth are listening to these songs and lyrics and thinking they got to go out and do stuff verbatim. So we need to protect them, okay? And I'm disappointed that Uncle Luke and Trick Daddy are feeling that certain kind of way. I understand, but see, y'all supporting your Florida artists, and I get it in one way. And the other way is like, you're pretty close to my age, and you guys probably have kids. I mean, you do. And they might be a little older now, but see, you're not thinking about the youth. I don't understand the scamming culture is probably really close to you and everything, but it's not cool. It's not. And we should be really concerned about what's being said and done in our culture right now. We got to be cognitive of those things, and it's not good. We need to protect them. So it's disheartening to hear you kind of go in on her, and then, what I'm saying? I get the part where you kind of made the same kind of crap music. You know what I mean? I don't really play a lot of your stuff right now, but I did. You know what I mean? But when we going to move up to a different vibration? We can't stay in the same crap. Remember the songs back in the 90s, the 80s, or whatever, that were uplifting and telling you some things you didn't know about our culture and about our heritage? They cut that crap out real fast, didn't they? Because we were learning too much, and it made a lot of millionaires, made a lot of black millionaires. So now, and they understood, if you put things in music, it goes into your psyche, So what they did was they allowed us to do all the B's and H's and the drug culture and stuff, put that in it, and, we glorified that stuff. And what happened? Our, vibration went down, got a lot more killing going on. What I mean? It's just nuts, real nuts. But we're the only culture that allowed that in our culture. You'll never see any Jewish people talking bad about Jewish people. You don't see any white folks doing that kind of crap. You know what I'm saying? They'll cut all of that out. But for some reason, the floodgate is open for all the B's and H's when it comes to black folks. And you got to think about that. Why? Because they know if we allow them to talk shit and all that other stuff, these young, impressionable kids are going to take up that crap, and that's where they're going to be at. Let's talk about the Rooftop for a minute. The Rooftop nightclub that we did, Grown Folks Saturday, was really good. And the reason why I'm bringing this up again, because it's going to be happening again, and I'm not going to be able to be at the next one and everything. So, because I'm doing the Carlsbad Winery, and that's a big deal. This is my second year doing it, and it was great. I'm going to miss the party. I was very looking forward to being there. I think D-Nice is going to miss it also. But hey, still go out and experience that, man. It was great. DJ Oski, man, he does a really, really good job of actually tapping into the crowd. And the thing about it is, we talked about that, man. I'm watching him, and he was tapped in. And for a moment, you feel it. You know, we talked about that, man, and I'm glad he said what he said, man. It was just, it was a wonderful thing because, you know, when you could talk to another DJ, sometimes they might be like, you know, there was a vibe there going and everything. But when you turn around and look at the crowd kind of reacting to the music and the ebbs and flows and everything else, and you know that you got them, you could play almost anything. And then whatever you played that was a little different, you could be like, I could explain why I'm doing this. I explain why I'm doing that. This, you know what I'm saying? This is kind of goes along with the things we were saying about the vibrations. You know, when I watch people go from love to kind of rowdy, you know what I'm saying, with the music. And the same thing would happen with the Spin It song. You know what I'm saying? You know, it has those spells on it. So that's the reason why everybody's saying what they're saying. You know, we're saying like, be careful what you put out there, because the young and impressionable will grab a hold of it and think that they have to do those kind of things, or feel like they have to be popular, that kind of thing. Still got to grab a hold of these young ladies. And these young ladies got to go back to, man, finishing school, whatever, back in the day, what they did, whatever. Taught them how to sit in a dress, how to, you know, the etiquette, all that other stuff. We need that badly back in our society, you know. And that's what a lot of brothers are missing to this day with these ladies. You know, you got to hit the BBLs and go out there and do all this, you know, crap. You know what I mean? Booty shaking. Disheartening to watch anyone 40, 50, or 60 years old out there twerking. That ain't the look. You know what I mean? I mean, cool. Listen, you can watch that all day long. I mean, maybe even in private, but in public, and you doing that, man, you guys should know by now. Yeah, most of the time when a man sees all that and when you got all your goodness out, all he's thinking about is hitting. He ain't thinking about, you know, chilling with you later on. And if that's what you want to, that's cool. But man, that's a real thing. So anyway, I want to encourage everyone to go out and watch go in, get on HBO, watch the Earth, Wind, and Fire documentary, because they actually talked about how they did, you know, they cultivated the music that empowers, and by using kinetic energy and spiritual energy, and they try to teach you, they entertain you and edutain you, you know, and that's a good thing. And that's where we kind of want to be. So did we talk about the 94? We did talk about the 94, didn't we? Oh, let's talk about the 94. The 94, I know some of you guys are going like, oh, it's closed and our dollars did this and our dollars did that. It didn't. It closed for a reason, but it had nothing to do with our finances. I'm going to say that again. The 94, it did close, but it had nothing to do with our dollars. Now, there's some people that are really, really invested into what's going on. And there's one particular guy who's named after some jeans in the 80s and stuff. I ain't going to necessarily say his name, but you know what I'm talking about. Man, you are really, really, really annoying with it. It's so personal with you, you just can't get off of it. So understand, ladies and gentlemen, black folks here in San Diego, 94 didn't close because you stopped going. It didn't. And you'll figure it out pretty soon. So that's all I got to say about that. You know what I mean? But I'm still on this. We got bigger things to worry about. You know what's bigger than the 94? The Spend It song. You know why? Because it's hurting our youth. Because they think they got to go and scam and all that other stuff. So we're not worried about, what are you talking about? I got a troll in here. That's what I'm trying to do. We have bigger things to worry about than this one particular song. No, reverse that. We got bigger things to think about than this one particular club. I got that right. So anyway, while we're worried about the 94, and I said this on my last live, they're taking away our rights. Project 2025 is in full effect, ladies and gentlemen. And they are trying to get us back into the fields. But y'all worried about, I can't afford $25 to go to this club. or whatever the hell the price is. And I'm saying whatever the hell because I don't really need to go there, whatever. Because if you, like I said before, if you go downtown, you got to spend $30 on parking, and then you got to get in the club or whatever that is, and then your drinks are probably inflated too. And then like, what other club that you had that even came close to the vibe that was at the 94? And that's the reason why it was what it was. Now, keep in mind, they weren't really treating black folks right. And they were inflating the prices and didn't give you anything back. I get it. But my only thing is that if you can't afford to go, you should go. And it didn't need to be a whole big old campaign, and I understand it. Some of you guys, that's what you want to do. You know what I mean? To draw up some interest when you in your page, and you can get the clicks and likes and all the other stuff. And I'm not necessarily doing this for clicks and likes. I think I'm doing this more for my mental health than anything else. But again, 94, come here. 94 didn't close because of your dollars. I'm happy that you think so, but it didn't matter. It didn't. It closed for a reason, and you'll see. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, again, I'll be there at the Vibe nightclub this Friday, my last Friday, and look forward to second Saturdays. It's gonna be Super Saturdays, or whatever. I haven't figured out a name for it, but it's gonna be nice because we need a Saturday night, and we need the R&B, we need the line dancing, we need some grown folks to come out, whatever, and even some young folks to come out and do what they need to do. Some of you, I would advise some of you young folks and stuff to want to see how grown folks actually learn how to, interact with each other in a manner that is worth chilling and worth talking about, instead of all this. I'm going to sit in my chair and I'm going to put my phone on myself and I'm going to act like the artist. So my song come on, I know all the lyrics, and then everybody's going to watch my live because I'm live. Yeah, I saw a post earlier and it said, it was this gay guy that said something. He says, "I wanted to tell you, sweetheart, you're not a star." And you talk about the absence, you're just regular. When you go outside your door, ain't no paparazzi. You know what I mean? I know you got a couple of likes and stuff on Facebook and TikTok, but you're not a star, and nobody's checking for you. So once we get that past everyone, we'll be okay, because I think everybody think they're in that bubble. You know what I'm saying? And maybe sometimes including myself, but not really, because I'm kind of more realistic, because I'm an old school head. I'm an old head. I'm on here to run my mouth and to tell everyone that, hey, whoever's known me for years, I didn't really talk, and now you can't get me to shut up. So let me see. I'm gonna look back at my notes. So we talked about the culture of our music a little bit. We talked about the 94, and we talked about the grown folks party at the rooftop. Please don't forget to go get your tickets, or if you're gonna go there, it's gonna be July 25th. It's gonna be hot. Make sure you go. Make sure you get you enough money to buy some waters and everything, especially at the rooftop. Mid-level and everything is really nice and cool. If you want to go down and cool off, then come right back. We talked about the Vibe Lounge this Friday, July 10th, last day for DJ Gill on Friday, and the second Saturday is going to be starting up next month. We talked about the kinetic energy that Earth, Wind, and Fire is doing on the HBO documentary, and you want to learn something about music and how music really works and everything else. All you folks think that it don't matter, watch that HBO special. We talked about how disappointing it is to hear Uncle Luke and Trick Daddy, the two guys who made some money off putting poison into the... well, it's not. It really is. It's entertainment. I understand Luke did a big thing when he won his case and everything else. But Luke, man, you got to grow up, man. Uncle Luke, Trick Daddy too, man. You got to grow up, man. I don't know you like them young girls, but dude, you got to look in the mirror and see what you look like, man. You really do. So whatever it is you need to do, do that. Because, dude, man. Let me see what else I got. We talked about the moments in DJing when it feels like that you are right in tune with the crowd, and you can play almost anything. It's a wonderful feeling. Do I need to shout anybody out? Yes, let me shout out Steel. We talked about San Diego artists and stuff. Eddie Mack, Ryan Anthony, Bossman, Hall, Dago Fats, man, keep sending me stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I love these cats and what they're doing. We still talk about Damu and Black Mikey. I saw their joint and everything else. And I know that everything we do ain't always on that low vibrational stuff. And so, Dago Fats is really lyrical. So is Ryan Anthony. I really love what he's doing. I just want to get to a point where that when I start doing some other lives and stuff, we're going to feature the music. We're going to talk about the lyrics a little bit and that kind of thing. Start sending me some R&B acts here in San Diego too. I know that DJ Brady Bird has his young lady, Kajay. You know what I'm saying? I've ran to a couple of things and stuff. Send me any R&B stuff. Who's doing some R&B stuff here? Even if it's old school R&B, want to hear it. You know what I mean? You got Southern Soul, even though you don't live in the South. You got some Southern Soul stuff. Send me some Southern Soul stuff. We're going to start cultivating our San Diego artists. I know that Birdie gets on there and said we're going to do that too. I know there's another brother that does it. He does his Dago Push stuff too. I can't remember his name, but I used to be watching his live a lot too. But what we're really trying to do is feature more of our San Diego artists and understand that a lot of the San Diego artists don't want to go for the okie doke. If they have any knowledge to back in the day when I got signed and the stuff that I went through, if you haven't heard any of those stories, go back and look at some of my lives. I talked about that. What else? Yeah, that'll be happening again soon. And look forward to SRC, which is called Soul Restoration Collective. That is my nonprofit that is actually looking for people who suffer from PTSD. It didn't have to necessarily be a veteran. We do veterans. We want to specialize with veterans too that have been through war situations or just stuff in the military. What it is was threefold thing. It teach you some things. So Restoration Collective teaches you how to eat better. Lyme Lessons is a part of Lori Dorsey Guillory's thing. Let me see, the Remix Soul Food, Vegan Comfort, that's part of their thing. DJ Nominize along with Lori Guillory. And then we have the San Diego All-Star DJs that's underneath that thing, which is getting San Diego All-Star DJs is mainly the collective of military veterans that are DJs, and they started in 2020. And we started going live and stuff just to entertain or whatever. And we're still together to this day, and we have a studio, and we record, we do remixes, that kind of thing, and that's what we're doing. And then, of course, then there is Healing Heroes, which is part of the military part, where but it's for PTSD too, though. Teaches you how to record, writing classes, perform your own music, and we do we're going to do a what's that called? A gala at the end of the year, or every 6 months, or whatever it's called for, to try to bring down some record execs to listen to, and maybe possibly sign some artists. Maybe even have some super guests that come down and perform, that kind of thing. So look forward to that. It's going to be really, really good. You'll see SRC, Soul Collective Restoration. It's trying to gather and give people some good tips on mental health, eating, and all the above. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is my live again, July 10th, this Friday, last day at the Vibe Nightclub. Look forward to second Saturdays at the Vibe Nightclub. Working on something on Fridays, every Friday, and it's going to be a thing where San Diego All-Star DJs are going to be there, and it's going to be great. Talk to you guys soon. Love you. Out.